Hey, what's up YouTube? This is FoxTail Digital coming to you again with Black Girl Stocks. And in this video, we are going to talk about how you can create a comprehensive setup in Webull that's really gonna help you analyze stocks. We're gonna make this quick, so let's go ahead and let's get into it. The first thing we're gonna do is open up your Webull app. If you haven't already, customize your layout, then that's fine. This is perfect for you. So on the left-hand side of the screen, you should see this little paintbrush, so click, it'll say custom. So just click that, it's gonna take you to this layout screen. So these are all the different layouts that you have. You have your default layouts and then you have your customized layouts. These are mine. We're gonna click on blank layout, boom. So we're starting fresh here and you'll see in the top right, it says add widgets. Let me just kind of list out what we're going to add. The first thing I want to add is the chart and the quotes. I'm also going to add order book and time analysis. And then lastly is going to be watch list, boom. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set this up with the quotes over here to the far right. And I just put it all the way as far as it'll go. So I know this is the smallest width that I can have. Then I'm gonna take this order book, pair it with the volume analysis, bring that in, bring it down, and then we're gonna have that right here. We have our order book, volume analysis. We have our quote that gives us all the information about the stock. We have our open, high, low, the volume, previous close. On a regular stock, it'll show you the average volume over 3 months. And so this is something that you can kind of pair with today's volume to see if, you know, on average, is our volume higher or lower? So that'll kind of give you an idea when you're day trading. Next, I'm gonna have our watch list, bring this over here to the far left, and then we're gonna bring this in as closely to the left as it can go. And I'll just bring this all the way down to the bottom, boom. What you'll see here, it has a lot of information. If I just kind of bring this out, it has all of this. I'm pretty familiar with the ticker symbol, so I don't need to know the entire name. So what you can do is you can come up here to the display mode. And for me, I'll just click simplified. Okay, and you'll see it's literally showing me two things so that I can bring it all the way in here so I can see the ticker symbols. I also see the price and the price change. And that gives us room to have our chart right dab here in the center, boom. So we have that. So this is a great layout. It's organized, it's condensed. We're not done yet, but we have our watch list, boom, quotes, boom. We can see our order flow and our volume analysis there, boom. Now for me, there's a few other things that I'm going to add to this. Because I trade options, I'm going to add my options quotes here. And so this is going to give you an organized list of all of your option chains we're going to have that there. And just specifically on how I have that set up really quickly, you see how you have your calls on this side, your puts on this side. Here's going to be your strike prices. For me, I just like to see all of them. I like to have my options. It gives you a long list. Scroll down here. This is going to be where the actual price is. So you have all your strike prices here. This is where the actual price is. So this is usually where I like to start when I'm looking for my trades. Now, as far as this section up here for the Greeks, implied volatility, open interest and things like that, you're going to click on this option items. Click on that. Usually for me, I'm going to have the bid, the ask, and the last. I like to have the bid and the ask just so you can see how far that spread is. And that's going to give you some indication on the liquidity of the option contract. Percent change, I'm not going to lie to you, I really don't pay attention to that. Mid, I don't pay attention to that. Implied volatility, I do have that, but we're going to have that all the way to the end. I do have my open interest. Bring that here. We're going to have our delta and theta, gamma. I do pay attention to, but I'm not going to lie to you, I really don't. And we're missing our volume. So the volume, I'll put that next to the open interest. So boom, bid, ask, last, delta, theta, volume, open interest, and implied volatility. Boom. That'll have all that listed out there. And as far as the order, for me, I like to have mine in ascending order. And so that just means all of these down here for the call side, these are all out of the money, which is where I'm usually, if I'm day trading, I'm going to be here with the premium. So these are all in the money, out of the money for the calls, opposite for the put side. So these are all out of the money, in the money. I just like to have it set up that way. And I really think I have it set up that way because I started trading on Robinhood and that's how they have their setup. So, and then I have this mirror systemically. So just how like it's bid, ask, last, delta here on this side, it'll be exactly the same way on this side. So it's just not parallel. Let's keep it with the mirror. There you go. And that's pretty much it for the options. There's a few other things I want to add to this chart section. Another widget that is crucial for me is going to be the news. This just gives you updated information on the stocks that you're trading and then also stocks related to that stock in similar sectors and then what's going on in the market. You can easily get access to that. Another thing that I add for my option trades is going to be the option statistics. Okay, you have to have that. This is amazing because what you'll see here, it gives you so many different things like the ratio between calls and puts. It actually gives it to you by each individual strike price right here on the left side. So it's going to show you the strike price. You have your volume on your calls and your puts, and then you have the total volume. So this is just a quick reference on, okay, there are more calls than puts. And then you can also just come down here looking at the volume distribution. It shows you implied volatility. You compare that with historical volatility to see, you know, are we more volatile right now? And then the same thing that we talked about with the volume on the stocks, we can actually compare the volume today on, you know, these contracts to a 30-day volume average. Right now, the volume, it's looking a little low on Apple, 4.86 million compared to the 8.9 million that it receives on average. So just kind of something to keep in mind. That's what I'll have there. And lastly, if you're interested and you like to keep up a little bit of mess, I usually add the comment section, retail. You can get an idea of what other retail investors are thinking and feeling. Take this with a grain of salt though. I think a lot of people put the opposite of what they actually feel on these columns. So I don't think that everybody's being honest here, and I'm just being completely honest with that. So take that with what it is. And then the last thing I forgot to add is going to be profile. Okay. Now I will add profile because this is going to give you information on the individual company that you're looking at. So if you're looking at, you know, something that a stock or something that you found from a watch list or a scanner or a screener, and you didn't really know what sector it was or what their business model, you know, revolves around, this is just going to give you a quick insight into what the business is. So this is invaluable to me, and it's just adding to the learning opportunities that you have. You can't beat that. One thing I forgot to add, for me, I usually like to trade in the direction of the overall trend in the market. So that's going to be following indices like SPY, QQQ, IWM. I'm going to go ahead and add the index chart. And so you'll see with the index chart, it's going to give you the Dow Jones in the purple. You see S&P 500 and then NASDAQ in the green. So you can kind of see how the overall market is doing. Looks like we're having a pullback right now. Bring this out as far as it will go and then just drag it down here. And you don't have to have it this tall if you don't want it that tall. That's fine. But I'll usually keep that right there. The way I have it set up, I have my charts here, quotes, watch list, volume, and then it'll show you, you know, some of the information on the things in your watch list down here for a quick view. Then all I have to do is scroll down and I can see what's going on in the general market. So I'm wondering right here if we find some support. I don't know. We'll check back for that. And lastly, I forgot. So as far as monitoring the positions that you're in, because that's very important, you can add positions. And so when you add positions, this is going to give you information on the positions that you have open currently. I'm going to put that down there so I can have that for a quick glance. Also, you can add your entry, your order entry. And so this will show you your pending positions. Let's say if you have a stop loss order that's waiting or a position that you're waiting to get into, you'll be able to check all of that down here. So it just gives you good information about your trades, the market. Boom. You don't have to do too much. You just scroll down and you can see all of that and then scroll back up. I love that. Okay. Now, the last thing that I'm going to talk about in this video is how I actually have my chart set up for analyzing a stock. I know a lot of people ask this in the videos, the most recent videos that I've been posting, and I feel like I've been talking about this method a lot lately. Analyzing any stock or chart with multiple time frames. Just a quick rundown on how I set that up in Webull. Click on grid and I'm going to have it set up to show 3 charts. Okay. Now, when you set up your chart, make sure the only thing that you have synced up is going to be symbol. Okay. Not the time, not the indicators or the crosshair, just the symbol. We want to make sure that the symbol is going to be the same along all of these. Talking about alignment, one thing I forgot to talk about was how we align everything, because you'll see right here, I press Kava or UAL and the stock chart still shows SPY. This shows Apple over here on the quote. So it's all over the place. So what we're going to do is we're going to click right here on set as a group. This is how we're going to group all of these different widgets together. So right up here, you can group everything inside of this layout. You see how we have this blank layout here. Boom, that's that. But if you have them set down here, that means it's going to go across different layouts. Just like here, I may have my my normal day traders, all this other stuff. If all of those are linked up, then it's gonna change throughout those. This is just gonna keep it in this layout, what we have right here. Go ahead and link all of those up. I'm gonna link them all to one. So you'll see how that changes things up. Boom, boom, for the one, boom. And then let's do this one. Everything is linked up. So when I check this, everything is now Apple. Everything is UAL. Everything is Kava. Awesome. Now, as far as this, we're gonna use this. So remember, we're using 3 different chart time frames, and you can see your chart time frames down here. Here's where you can kind of have your quick links to the time frames that you use the most. I normally use for my day trades, it's gonna be the 5-minute, the 15-minute, and the 1-hour chart. So I'm gonna have those highlighted. I really don't use the 30-minute. And for my swing trades, I'm going to use the daily, the 4-hour, and the 1-hour chart. So I'm really not looking at the weekly. I could keep it on there for reference, but this is usually gonna be my go-to setup. So that's usually how I'm going to have everything for my charts. Now for this first time frame, I'm gonna have it set to the daily chart. And this is what we're gonna be finding the trend with. I'm gonna turn off these technical signals. So we're looking on the trend, daily chart up here. Then we're gonna move into the closer time frame, the 4-hour chart. And this is where we're looking for overbought, oversold zones. And then on the closest time frame, it's gonna be the 1-hour chart. So this is gonna be for like short-term swing trades, short and long-term swing trades. And as far as the indicators that I'm gonna use on these, it's gonna be pretty straightforward. All the indicators are gonna be a little bit different. So up here, because we're looking for trends, we're gonna use trend following indicators. So the ones I like are the MACD indicator and moving averages. Just to kind of specify, I'm gonna use the 50 and the 200 period moving averages. We're gonna change the color on those to white and yellow, bright yellow, so it shows up easier on the background. Boom, so we have that. That's what we're looking for, our trends. And you can use any other indicator. You can use a super trend indicator, the DMI/ADX indicator for the trend, whatever you want to use. Just use a trend following indicator on that first time frame. Boom. On the 4-hour chart, we're gonna look for that overbought, oversold. So we're gonna use the RSI indicator. That's just but it's gonna be an oscillator. So that's just the oscillator that I choose to use, but you can use anything. You can use Bollinger Bands, you can use the stochastics indicator, whatever works best for you. And on the closest time frame, I'm gonna use something similar to the first time frame. I like to use the MACD indicator again. I won't have moving averages. I'll actually use exponential moving averages just so it has more weight on the more recent. And for the length, usually I use a 13. I can use a 20 period EMA. A 20 period EMA with the MACD. Also, another thing, I haven't talked about it a lot on the channel, but one of my subscribers actually put me on to this strategy, but it's the pivot point strategy. And it's pretty much based on the high, the low, and the close of the previous day's price range. And so for me, the color schemes I'm going to use for the pivot, I'm going to use that as white. And then these are theoretically the R1, 2, and 3 are resistance zones. I'm going to label those with different colors, and it's going to be different shades of green. So it's going to start out light, get darker, and then it'll get darker. And for the support, I'm going to start with the light red, dark red, and then we get to the darkest red. So just visually, this is easier for me to catch a glimpse of. Thing I forgot to mention, a lot of people talk about support and resistance levels. An easy way that you can find support and resistance levels in Webull is using the volume profile indicator. And just the way I set it up, I have my row size for 40. The way I style it, I'll just color the POC white, value area, I'll do green. I'll leave the common column gray, value area high. I'll color that red because essentially that's resistance, value area low, green, boom. And that's how I have that set up. And we're gonna put that on the 4-hour chart. We're gonna put that on the middle time frame. Okay, and that's just gonna help with finding those overbought, oversold, or excuse me, those support and resistance zones. So you see right here how it already marked, boom, that resistance, boom, that support. You don't have to worry about it. Okay, and yeah, that's pretty much how I have it set up. And then I didn't really talk about the pivot points too much. I'll probably talk about that in another video, but basically, long story short, if the stock price is above this white pivot line, it's giving bullish vibes, but if it moves below that, it's giving bearish tea. So that's just kind of something to keep in mind. But yeah, this is how I have my Webull chart set up. All right, you guys, so that's gonna be it for this video. If you liked it, please make sure you click that thumbs up button for me. It really helps the channel. Also subscribe and click that notification bell so that you get notified anytime I upload a new video for you guys. All right, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.